We had to call our RA to come in and kill it, but we actually didn't even end up finding it. It like crawled away and then never saw it again. I wanted to quickly talk about like how to find a roommate. Sis, I have to meet you before. Obviously every dorm's gonna have like a different layout and like a different, I don't know, like everyone's gonna have a different experience from their freshman year. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So today I decided I would talk about everything about like living in a dorm and how to find a roommate and stuff like that. So if you are new here, you wouldn't know that I am currently a senior at the University of South Carolina. So everything I talk about is going to be based off of my freshman year experience there. So my freshman year I lived in a suite style. I lived in Columbia Hall, if you didn't know. Basically suite style, you share a bathroom with 3 other people. Most rooms are set out where like the bathroom is like in between the 2 rooms. In my case, I got a corner room, literally I don't know how. So it was like one giant room. Like we had a main entryway, and then we had like a tiny common area, and like we had 2 doors for our bathroom. So we had the toilet in one door and then the shower in one door, which was actually really nice. I know most places your shower and toilet are like in the same like bathroom area. I'm pretty sure for like most other suite style dorms they're in like the same thing. But since we had the corner room, we had extra space, so they had separate doors for the toilet and for the shower, which was really nice actually. But before I started getting into like what living in a dorm is really like, I wanted to quickly talk about like how to find a roommate. I'm sure by now you already have filled out your housing application. I guess this could be for like future people that see this, I don't know. So basically how I found my roommate was I joined a Facebook group. So it was like, since I'm a senior now, it was like University of South Carolina class of 2021. So I joined that Facebook group, and that is where everyone was like posting about like needing a roommate. I just made like a little paragraph about myself, saying like where I'm from, what my interests are, what my major is. So I just made like a little blurb about that in the Facebook group, and then I posted it. Like also included my Instagram so that people could get in contact with me better. So I said like you can message me through Facebook or on my Instagram. Actually, I had people like coming from Facebook DMing me on Instagram being like, hey, are you still looking for a roommate and stuff like that. And then I also would scroll through the posts, and anyone that I thought I would mesh well with, I reached out to them too. How I found my roommate, shout out to you, Summer. She DM'd me on Instagram, I think. Yeah, it was on Instagram. And she was like, hey, are you still looking for a roommate? I think we would be really well together. And she like explained a little bit about herself. And I was like, yeah, sounds good to me. And we both had similar like interests in like where we wanted to live, which is like also a really big factor in finding a roommate. You need to make sure that you have the same like interest on where you want to live. So both of our top choices was Patterson, and then we put Women's Quad, and then I think we might have put like South or East Quad or something like that. Not put Columbia Hall on our list at all. We just put that we wanted a suite style, and that was like the most important thing, is that we were roommates and that we had suite style. Other than that, like we're like really like whatever, wherever we live is like it's gonna be fine anyway. I think the housing applications were due like May 1st or something like that. So we didn't end up finding out until July, and they sent us an email saying like who our roommates were. They give you their email address so that you can like email all of them at once and be like, hey, here's my number if you guys want to get to know each other better, or like make a group me or something like that. That's what we did. Me and my roommate Summer were in like constant contact, and we had also planned to meet up like before actually moving in, since we both lived like relatively close to each other. And that's another thing that I want to put in there, is that you should look for a roommate that is a similar distance from your hometown as you. So I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, which is an hour and a half-ish away from Columbia, and she is from like the Charlotte, North Carolina area, so it's also an hour and a half away from her hometown. So it was an equal distance getting to Columbia from our hometowns, which I think is super important. So you want to find a roommate, like if you're out of state, you probably want to find an out-of-state roommate, just because you never know. If you're rooming with someone and you're out of state and they are in state, you don't know if like they're gonna be gone all the time, like going home all the time, which would kind of suck. I would just really recommend finding someone that's like a similar distance away from Columbia to like your hometown, if that makes any sense. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I just really don't know how to word it. I think this is when we had already found out that we were roommates. We had met once before because we had like a housing issue, and they said that like we weren't gonna be roommates, but like I don't know, it was really weird. I would definitely recommend meeting your roommate before move-in day if it's at all possible. Like if you live at all like close to each other, just meet somewhere in the middle, just so that you know what you're getting yourself into, because I cannot even imagine if I had never met Summer. Like I would have been so nervous and so scared. But since I'd already met her a couple of times before actual move-in day, like I knew what I was getting myself into. She knew what she was getting herself into. And it was just a lot less nerve-wracking because I'm an anxious person to begin with. So I was just like, sis, I have to meet you before. Getting like settled into your dorm. So I did sorority recruitment, which requires you to move in a week before everyone else does, if that kind of makes sense. So by the time that everyone else was like moving in, I was already adjusted into my room and settled in, and I already like knew my way around the building and like a little bit around campus and stuff. But that was super helpful. But I know it's not available to everyone, so I'm sorry it's not available to everyone. Getting adjusted to living in a dorm was super weird, especially for me because I am an only child, and so is Summer, which also worked out really well because we both were like having the same like adjustments, because we both had never shared a room with anyone in our lives, and now we were sharing it with each other, so we kind of understood like where the other one was coming from. So we never had any issues on that part. Like we had the same schedule since we were going through recruitment together. So like we would wake up at the same time, go down to recruitment at the same time, and then get home like relatively around the same time. So that was really nice. So I don't know, I feel like getting adjusted, it's always hard going from like living at your parents' house to like being in a dorm with like another person like a foot away from you. It's always just kind of weird, and especially if you've never met them. Like that's just like, it's really weird and uncomfortable. But I mean, give it like a couple weeks and you'll be fine. Homesickness, I didn't really get homesick until I think it was like maybe like a month or two in. We had a hurricane happen and classes were canceled for like a week, I think, and my roommate decided to go home, which I completely understand. I wish I would have gone home, but I didn't have my car there, so I was not able to go home, and I wasn't really that close with my suite mates yet, so I was just like stuck in my room, and I just remember being so homesick, and I was just like, I hate it here, I want to go home, like whatever. But that when everyone came back and like school was like normal, I was fine again. But yeah, homesickness is really hard to deal with, especially if you've never left home and you're like an only child, like how I was. It was kind of hard. I don't know, I feel like I didn't really struggle with it that much just because I was so busy with like my sorority and with schoolwork. So I feel like I didn't really have that much homesickness. I know a lot of people deal with stuff differently, but yeah, I feel like I was pretty much fine. And I feel like for most people, like, it's normal to get homesick, but you just need to keep yourself busy. Just remind yourself that you'll see them in a couple months, hopefully, because like you'll have Thanksgiving break, you'll have Christmas break, and if you're in state or like not very far from your hometown, you can go home on like a random weekend or something. But for out-of-state students, it can be especially hard because you don't know like really the next time you're gonna see them. Like it's pretty much just going to be like Thanksgiving or Christmas that you'll see them, so that can be really hard, which is why I would suggest getting a roommate that is also out of state, so that you guys can like deal with that stuff together and you have each other to lean on because you're both going through the same things. Actual like living in a dorm, like is it nice? How do you deal with stuff? Like how did you store stuff? Like let's get into like stuff like that. I think it was everything I wish I knew before freshman year. I talked about what I used for storage, so I will link that video up there because I like showed pictures of my actual dorm room and like how I store stuff. But yeah, I did a really good job explaining that, so I'll link that up there. Now like how it actually is, I know that Columbia Hall is a lot different now. I'm pretty sure they renovated it, so it's a lot nicer than it was when I was a freshman. We had gross tile floors, our bathroom was literally so scary. It was so dirty, like no shade or anything. That it was just super old. Like that's just how it was. So we put a rug down on the tile, but honestly I thought it was pretty nice because I've seen, like I watched like dorm tours back then, and some of them looked like really scary and like old and like they were like haunted. So I honestly think that like USC has very nice dorms for being a big university like it is. I thought that the dorms were like actually pretty decent. The only con that I really had about living in Columbia Hall was that the elevators would always stop working. I don't know if they've resolved that issue or not, but we would always have like 2 elevators down, like at least 2. And there's only 3, so we would only have like 1 elevator working. And when you have like 500 plus people in one building, like that's really hard. And especially being on the 8th floor, you would have to climb up and down 16 flights of stairs. Like, honey, I'm not doing that. So it was kind of stressful when I had class and I had to wait on the elevator, or I don't know, just stuff like that. Just the elevator was the only annoying part. Everything else about the dorm, like I loved where I lived. It was nice. When we first got there, everyone was always super nice to me. I never had an issue with like anyone being mean or like loud or like rude, because I know that can sometimes be a thing. But I'm pretty sure we had like designated quiet hours past like 10 p.m. Like you couldn't be like yelling in the halls or stuff like that, or like the RA would get mad. So I don't know, I just think all in all it was a very pleasant experience. Oh wait, I have some more cons. Our room got infested with ladybugs, which like wasn't that really like that big of a deal. They were just getting like our light and it was kind of gross. Like just like the overhead light, there would be like a crap ton of ladybugs in there and I was just kind of grossed out. We had a roach problem once. We had to call our RA to come in and kill it, but we actually didn't even end up finding it. It like crawled away and then never saw it again. But yeah, those are like the only real cons. But I mean, that's what you get when you're living in like a confined space in Columbia, South Carolina, where it's hot. Like you're gonna get bugs anywhere. But we had AC in our dorm, which was so nice. Like I literally can't even imagine not having AC. And it worked really good. Like it got super cold, but we still had like a tall floor fan anyway, just in case, because we moved in the summer and it was just so hot. Like nothing could fix that heat. So we had that just in case. It was really nice. We had like 2 mirrors. We each had our own sections. We had 1 sink, which really wasn't that big of a deal because we never really used it at the same time. The desk space is really nice. The desk chair I did not like. So we put that out. We put both of our chairs out in like the little common area, and we bought our own desk chairs from IKEA, which like IKEA is really cheap, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And I still use that desk chair now, so it was an investment. A really good amount of storage. I was not expecting our like little wardrobes to have that much closet space, but I had more closet space then than I do in my apartment now. And I've lived in my apartment now for 2 years. Finally getting out. But yeah, I've lived in there for 2 years, and my dorm wardrobe had way more space than my closet does now. And I feel like I took it for granted because now I'm just like, oh my god, I would take anything to go back and have that closet space. Yeah, I don't know. I think all in all, I had an amazing experience. If I could go back to my freshman year, I 1000% would. It was like seriously one of the best years of my college experience like thus far. It was so much fun. I just loved being a freshman, and especially with Columbia Hall, it was right on campus. Like it took me, I think, maybe 5 minutes to get to Russell House, which is like where my food was. And all my classes were on like the north side of campus anyway. So like my classes were in Gambrell, Close Hip. I had one in Booker T though, and that took me a minute to get there. It took me like 15 minutes because that hill. I didn't mind living in a dorm. I've never had any roommate issues, which I am so incredibly thankful for. Because if you know now, this past year I had a ton of roommate issues. Sorry, I'm gonna spill the tea. I had a ton of roommate issues this past year, and I have never had roommate issues in the past. Me and my roommate got along. My roommate and our suite mates all got along. We never had any issues. Everything was like distributed evenly between all 4 of us. I still love both of them. Both of my suite mates, like they're amazing people. They're so much fun. They like made my freshman experience better too. I don't really know what else to say. Living in a dorm is not as bad as people make it out to be. I know it's like a small space, but honestly, like, it's really not that bad. Like, if I had to do it again, I'd be completely okay with it. I really wouldn't mind, as long as I knew my roommate. Like, if it was summer again, like, I wouldn't care. It was so much fun. And also, it's just nice having someone you can talk to all the time. Like, I'm just so fortunate that me and my roommate did turn out to be such good friends, because we always had each other to lean on. We always had someone to study with. We always had someone to, like, just hang out with. Like, we would literally hook up her TV and watch Bachelor, like, literally just in our, like, separate beds and just watch The Bachelor. Or we would just, like, hang out in our room, play Cards Against Humanity, study. Like, I don't know, we just, like, literally did everything together, which I am so thankful for. Didn't really know anyone going into USC. Like, I knew one person from my hometown, like one of my best friends from my hometown. Me and Summer ended up in the same sorority, and like we're in the same like sorority family and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I just think I got extremely lucky in my roommate. I wouldn't redo anything that happened my freshman year. Like, I like how everything turned out. I don't know if this was helpful at all. I hope it answered some of your questions. I know some of you have asked me about like what living in a dorm is like. So I hope this somewhat helped. I don't know. You guys can leave any more questions that you have down below or DM me on Instagram and I will be sure to answer them. Also, if you have any like specific college or USC related questions or like video ideas that you guys want me to make, please leave them in the comments below or DM me on Instagram, because I am more than willing to make these videos for you guys. I just like genuinely don't know what you want to know. I just feel like I've covered like the basics. Like, I don't know what else you guys want to know. So definitely leave me a comment or DM me on Instagram, because I want to make these videos for you guys. I'm out of ideas. Like, I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped a little bit maybe. I don't know. Obviously every dorm's gonna have like a different layout and like a different, I don't know, like everyone's gonna have a different experience from their freshman year. Give this video a thumbs up if it helped you, and subscribe for more, because I'm always making college lifestyle related videos. Thanks for watching.